This is the magicwordpodcast.com.
We have finished the first day. Actually, it was a half day, but it counts as a full day. So this is day 2 of our convention officially. And I say our convention, I'm speaking in the royal we, I guess, because, of course, it's Josh and Andy, but more importantly, Magic Inc. And here today, the first thing this morning, as my eyes are opening with this cup of coffee, which, by the way, this is a good cup of hot coffee. And if you guys are listening, you should go around the corner and have breakfast at, what was the name of that place where we ate? Because they want us to come back as a bagel shop.
Block down.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
forgetting
good.
The name right now.
Got some good black hot coffee. And good morning. So the second morning, and I'm here with Jeff Kowak. Sorry, yes, just like it sounds. Kowak, just like it sounds. And he is the CFO, actually, of Vanishing, and the new CFO. You've been here. Well, first of all, good morning. Good to see you, Jeff.
Hey, good morning. How is everyone?
We're fine. So you have been the CFO for less than 6 months, or
Yeah,
what?
it's only been about 4 months since the beginning of October when I came on board with the team.
Yeah. And you're out in California, or you're near North Carolina.
No, I'm here in Ohio. I used to be down in South Carolina, and now I'm up in Sandusky, so about 2 hours from here.
Is there an office or of other Vanishing, or just you?
Yeah, it's just, so that's the interesting thing. We don't have a headquarters or an office. Everybody works more or less remotely, so we have a team around the world, and now we have one more location in Ohio, my house.
Speaking of which, I was just talking with Jim Cringe yesterday, and I was curious, how many employees does Vanishing Inc. have worldwide?
Worldwide, yeah, approximately about 36 or so.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
A little bit larger than I thought.
Yeah.
And of that, where overseas, outside the U.S., do you have offices?
So we have people in, I'm going to say London, but it's really a DC outside of London, and some people over there up in the north of the UK as well. We have we have somebody over in Thailand, we have people in the Philippines, so it really is a worldwide operation. Of course, here in the United States, we have our main warehouse out in Sacramento, and people all over. We got some customer service in Atlanta and New Jersey, so we're across all time zones to help our customers no matter what time of day it is.
There you go. And as far as the international areas are involved, are they more of a warehouse, or are they looking for new and creative ideas, or what are they?
No, it's just employees that we have from around the world who do different things for us.
Okay.
And I've worked in international organizations before. It's really handy when you do have your primary business is an online website. It's on 24/7, and people from around the world are shopping, and they have different time frames that they need answers. So we have people to help. We really do have people to help service that customer service, and we have our video editors in the Philippines, very gifted guy who does a lot of the video assets that you see on our website that just really great stuff. You watch the trick and you think that's amazing, and they do the work.
Do you have an online chat? I know some companies have like a 24. So you do have that?
We do. We have an online chat. Like times like right now, it might be a little slower. We might turn it off because we can't handle it. But normally, 24 hour chat, and I don't know that someone's always there, but that's the goal.
Now, as far as this convention goes, how many times have you been coming? What number do you know?
Yeah, I do, actually. I looked it up. This is my 9th Magifest. This was my first convention ever. In fact, I went back and looked. I booked it about 2 weeks before the convention, my very first time coming, and drove up from South Carolina 8 hours, and I loved it so much that I've been coming for 9 years straight now.
Yeah.
And finally joined the team, and I'm kind of seeing from the other side, the back side.
Were you involved with the Slight Club out in South Carolina with Scott Robinson?
No,
and the guys,
I went to Tricks, and I know of the Slight Club. I was not involved with that, but they got a great organization for that, yeah.
Well, back to this convention, my main curiosity is about registration. I know the last couple of years they've kept it because of COVID down to 500, and this year they've opened it up. Yeah. What are they approximately at a registration?
Yeah, we're very pleased with the registration this year. It is approximately about 1,000. I can't believe that, It's just a fantastic convention to get 1,000 magicians who care passionately about magic into one place.
It was amazing last night, and Peter Turner had his lecture and performance, which was awesome, by the way. I'd highly recommend. And he was looking out in the audience, and he said on numerous occasions about how thankful he was for everybody to have come out. He said, I'm looking at 1,000 people here. He said, I only brought 30 sets of lecture notes. I really didn't know this many people were going to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a huge, not only 1,000 people here, but a lot of them are youth scholars. I don't know if you heard us talk about that.
I did. Explain this youth scholarship program.
Yeah, so the youth scholarship is something that I think Josh and Andy are very passionate about. And in fact, it's very interesting at this particular convention because Lance Burton's a guest of honor, and that's how Josh and Andy got to know each other, was as youth magicians appearing on his show and going to that camp that he was putting on, and that's how Josh and Andy had met. And so anyway, they've been very passionate about the next generation of magicians, and I really think we all have to be passionate about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, they've put their money where their mouth is, so to speak, and the youth program here is if you're under 18 and you put in an application, tell us you're a magician, and you're willing to donate a free show to somewhere in your community, you just have to document that you did that, then we will pay for you through our charity that we have to come to Magifest and learn from all these great magicians. We have very specific programming. Of course, they're in a lot of the other main sessions, but we have very specific programming for the youth. Carissa Hendricks is helping us run it this year. So it's just a fantastic opportunity for them to network with some great magicians, learn some great magic, and meet each other too, because how many of these people will be the next Josh and Andy, where you form a partnership here that lasts for a very long time.
Right.
So it's a cool opportunity. We have about 60 students this year in that program, which is, I think, a great number to build some camaraderie and
I know that when we register, there is a place there online that you can say if you want to donate X dollars or something to the scholarship fund, this is where it's designated.
That's exactly right, and it goes to help these students get here. Usually they have a guardian with them, the hotel costs and the convention and all that, so it's a great way to help ensure that magic will continue with magicians who are young and talented and energetic and bringing all these new ideas and energy to the table.
Yeah, well, I am excited about this convention, always have been, because, first of all, this is the first one out of the chute for the new year, because people usually, let's say pre-COVID, and even now we're post-COVID, I would say, where people have been cooped up for the winter. It's like, we got to go someplace, and so they're anxious to go, and regardless of snow or ice, we're getting together, and there are always some international talent and people that they bring over, like, for example, Peter Turner saying the first time he has come over here and lectured. Last night, Mark James just knocked it out of the park. He's going to be lecturing Saturday morning, and he said, this is not only my first time over here in America doing this, but it's my first magic convention ever in the U.S.,
Right.
So.
Not only that, but we have Shuto Gawa, the FISM winner, about two-time FISM winner, right? He's going to be here. He's got a booth. In fact, we're sitting here close to his booth. Yeah.
We're sitting at, don't tell him.
But don't tell him. But we're really excited because he's going to be giving a lecture and, of course, performing in the gala. His lecture, he's going to lecture on his FISM show. He's going to talk about that. And then there's a workshop with him on Sunday as well with open spots still. So hopefully, if anybody's listening to this and wants to learn from possibly the greatest performing right now, then this is
limited to 100 people, right?
Yeah, I don't know what the limit is, but we still have open spots,
okay.
And it's going to be a fantastic opportunity to get in there and hear from him.
Yeah, that's very true. It's a great convention. It's a lot of fun over the years. And one of the things I was going to point out then, too, we're talking about the youth, is how when I look around, it seems like the median age must be about 39. So many young people. I mean, there's a lot of gray hairs like me, or no hairs like you.
Exactly.
But there are a lot of young people here.
No, and I love that about this convention. It's such a great mix of all different types of magic, and that's what I love about magic, is that you're bringing together a community, and we all have something in common. We love magic. I want to go back for a second and talk about the timing of this convention, because you remember when we had to delay it for the pandemic, at one point we had it in September, which September in Columbus is a much better time than January. I mean, September in Columbus is gorgeous. But anyway, this group, we put it to a vote. We let people say, well, what do you think about moving it? You're right. People love the January thing, and in spite of, you'd think Columbus in January, not that great. That's true, but you're here in the hotel. It's a great environment. There's magic going on everywhere.
I'm wearing a T-shirt today.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's there's magic everywhere. We got people that like to sit out here in session, and then we've got great lectures and shows in the dealer room here. We've had a great turnout here, and I know a lot of stuff's been sold. So,
how many dealers are there here?
That's a good question. I should know that number, and I don't. But
there are 3 aisles, and it looks like there are probably about 10 on each aisle, so probably 30, and then the end cast, so let's say about 40.
Yeah, and a great mix of stuff. You've got books and tricks and electronics, and it's all kinds of great stuff. We're very pleased with our dealers' turnout this year.
Yeah, now you have some of the same dealers year after year. I know some conventions try to mix it up. I was just talking with Tom Vorjahan with the Winter Carnival, and he said we try to have different dealers each year because people want to come back, see what's new. But there are some that might have one or two that's the same, but for the most part, they're all different. Here, it seems like they're, well, obviously Vanishing Ink sponsors. They got like the best corner booth over here, but others that you're always having, H&R Magic Books and Andy Greggett and a lot of others, who are here regularly.
And I think that, it speaks well to how the dealers are doing, because if they're doing well, they're coming back.
They want to come back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's like magic. We all want to work in new tricks and stuff, but when you go back to your clients, what do they say? They say, well, hey, what about that thing I really loved last year? And so I feel like the customers and the people attending Magifest actually like knowing I'm going to see that dealer here because I've saved up my money here over Christmas and held back a little Christmas cash. I want to go see Don's Magic and Books and buy that book, and I know he's going to be there, so I want to see him.
Yeah, now, I don't want this to all sound like a Vanishing Ink commercial. It has been for a while, but Vanishing Ink, of course, is the one who's sponsoring this convention, so it's important we talk about that. But another thing that you and I talked about at breakfast is the exciting thing that Vanishing Ink does as far as their safari, and they've got a new cruise, and they got to talk about some of how that developed.
Yes, the retreat. So
right?
That's what we're calling it. And it's a fantastic new thing that I don't know has existed much in Magic, if at all, before, where it's a blend of a convention, but it's really limited. It's a very, we know it's not going to be for everybody. Yeah, it's very intimate. And there's usually 2 keynote lecturers that are going to come and teach magic. And of course we have Josh and Andy as well, so they're keynote as well, but I mean they kind of come with the package as being part of Vanishing Ink. But we've gone to some fantastic locations. The first retreat was in Costa Rica. They went to South Africa. Last year we did Utah, which was our first domestic one, but was a very big success. And then coming up in May, we're going to Italy, to Tuscany, Siena actually, and we've got Luke Germay teaching us some stuff there, and then we've got an Alaskan cruise coming later in the year. So we're trying to do about 2 a year now. We're ramping it up. We're just trying to introduce new things. Magicians, we're always looking for new ways to learn magic and fellowship with other magicians and learn and meet them. And I think this is a great intimate way. Spouses come. My wife has come with me. We went on the Utah retreat and met a bunch of other magicians and their spouses or significant others or girlfriends or whatever, and had a great time doing some horseback riding and hiking, and it's just a great place.
We like that story that the gentleman was talking about at breakfast.
Sorry, which story?
Well, there's one about his wife coming.
Yeah. So Edmund, my good friend, and his wife Tiffany went down to Costa Rica and there was a zip lining event, and his wife didn't want to go on it, so she stayed back.
Most spouses don't want to come to a magic convention, and this is really not a convention; it's a retreat.
Yeah,
go ahead. Said, okay, I'll go with you because I want to go to Costa Rica.
That's right. She wanted to go, so she held back, went to the spa, and afterwards they said, "Hey, you can go up to the bar up here and get a cocktail." So she went up to go do that. Anyway. Long story short, she's sitting there and somebody starts performing magic for her, and her husband calls her, says, "How's everything going?" She says, "Oh, I'm sitting here with Danny. He's showing me magic." He said, "Danny? There's a couple Dannys. Are you talking about Danny Day Ortiz?" And she said, yeah, that's his name. And he'd been sitting there and performing magic one-on-one for her for about an hour and a half, just nonstop. Yeah. There's actually a video out on his website of her you can see doing a reaction to a card and bottle from Costa Rica where he's doing that. And now she automatically wanted to go to all the rest of the retreats. So Edmund and Tiffany have been to, I believe, every retreat we've had so far, just because it's, and so even his wife, said, "I want to go on this." And my wife loved it as well. It's just a fantastic...
That's the thing about how it's grown, because it's all been word of mouth. It's like, I don't know, it's a lot of money, and I understand it's a vacation, but once they do go, and then they start talking to other friends and saying what a good time they had, so I'll try it. And then they tell somebody. It just grows exponentially.
Oh, that's absolutely right. We had a pretty great... So I was from Greenville, South Carolina. Edmund was there, and that's how we know each other. Yeah. We invited another guy from Greenville who came, and him and his girlfriend came, had a fantastic time. They've already signed up for the next one because of the same thing. Yeah. Word of mouth. They heard how great it was. They came and experienced it, and they said this. And to put it in his words, it was a once in a lifetime type of deal. Yeah. Except now he's going again, so I guess it's going to be at least twice in a lifetime.
Twice.
Yeah,
at least. That's right. Well, as we start to close in, Jeff, also obviously that you're involved and you kind of have to be here, but you would have been here anyhow. Is there something that you're looking forward to, or something you've already seen, or what's the most exciting thing that you think you're going to take away from this experience this week?
Well, for me, this is my first time behind the scenes, and I would say what I'm really enjoying is making sure that everybody's having a great great time at the convention. Of course, I think we've got a lot of really fantastic lineup. David Gerard is one that I missed. He couldn't be here because of COVID. I really want to see his lecture because he's got some marketing stuff. I'm a mentalist when I perform, and so I really want to hear what he has to say. I've heard nothing but great things. But really, for me, it's about making sure that everybody else has a great time and that we continue to have this legacy. You know, I met a really great friend of mine. I relayed this story last night. Just sat next to me at the very first Magifest, my very first convention. Name's Len Hibbard, and he's going to be here Saturday. But we've gotten to know each other and make friendships, and that's what I want for people here, is to make this a comfortable environment everybody can enjoy, meet new friends, and hopefully walk away with some lifetime friendships.
I think they will. It's been great so far. Every year's been great so far. I've been coming for a long time, back during the Redcoats days, with Jeff Hostetler and everybody.
Wow.
But anyhow, this has been great. Thanks, Jeff, very much.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it.
You bet. So for the Magic Word Podcast, that was Jeff Kowalk. This is Scotty Al. So we're in the dealer room still. As I said, we were just talking then with Jeff Kowalk about what was happening with Vanishing Ink, and we were in the dealer's room at the time, where we were behind Shuto Gala's booth over there. But now, behind the booth, I'm talking with Roger Nico at Card Shark. Hey there, Roger.
Hey, Scott, how's it going?
Fantastic. So we were just talking about something nothing to do with magic, but having to do with crop circles. We were talking about, so this I think is kind of interesting. I thought crop circle, now tell me first about, you're in the Bath area, I know, so tell me about it.
Yeah, well, I live in Wiltshire County in England. And
I can tell by your accent.
Yeah. Originally Western New York,
yeah.
but now I live in Wiltshire County, which is actually the county of mysticism and everything, because we have crop circles, stone circles, and it's we're not that far from Stonehenge.
Yeah.
So.
Now, when you mention crop circles, that's why I want to quickly get your idea on this, because I thought that had all been debunked, and they had shown how that they were doing all. So what's the story?
Well, you can debunk it all you want. I mean, there's always ways of people as skeptics trying to figure out different ways that they happen. But if you really look at what is being done, the intricacy and the precision that some of the crop circles that are made they're by far beyond human beings making them.
And also because of how quickly they can be made.
They're being made so quickly, and they're being made generally within like an evening.
Mm-hmm.
So
and they're huge, like a couple acres long.
Oh yeah, they're huge, and just the design work is just incredible.
Why do you think it's there in that area, in Stonehenge area? What's happened? I mean, Eve, your wife.
I know. I've got really no idea. I mean, I really don't.
What are her thoughts?
I do think that like Stonehenge, I think that they had help. Just like the pyramids. Mm-hmm. I think that there was some sort of help.
There had to have been.
Yes.
Now, there was a guy I spoke to once, it's a long story, so I'm not going to go get into this. I wish I could go back and find this guy to record an episode with him, because he was talking about apparently a time back when something was aligned, and he was explaining about all of this, where magic was real from the standpoint that you could levitate things because gravity wasn't the same, so that's how they were able to move these huge boulders from one place to the other by just picking them up and moving
them.
Well,
they're also talking about resonance and sound.
Yeah.
Using sound waves and to move these stones. Mm-hmm. So and now I actually have been inside the inner circle at Stonehenge.
I was back in 72 myself.
Well, now you see it's all cordoned off now. You can't get in there.
Right.
But with the exception that my wife and her business partner own StonehengeWeddings.com. And within that, with Stonehenge Weddings, we can actually gain entrance into the inner circle of the stones to conduct wedding ceremonies or memorial services, four people within stones, and the energy that you can feel within the stones is just incredible.
It's palpable.
Oh yeah, it's just. I mean, it is. It's just incredible.
Yeah, when I first went again in 1972, and you can walk up to it. I mean, of course, when I was in 1972, I remember going to the Louvre, and I could walk right up to the Mona Lisa, and apparently that's what everyone else was doing. And they were actually chipping some pieces of the paint off, and that's why they finally covered it in it. But because people are stupid. But back in the day, they trusted human beings to be human beings.
Oh, right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, even though that we go into the inner circle of the stones, you're not allowed to touch the stones. You're not allowed to, take any souvenirs. You can't take anything in with you.
Can't pick up anything off the ground.
You can't pick up anything off the ground. No.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's...
So do you go into security when they do weddings to make sure they don't do that, or they got their own people?
Well, they do have their own security people, but I'm also there as well to make sure that people behave themselves.
Yeah. Wow, that's fascinating. Because are there crop circles any place else around England? Because it seems like England is like a center.
Well, it's really kind of silly if you have ever watched the Ancient Aliens series on television. Giorgio has actually been in Wiltshire County and has done a lot of gone around to these different areas. But there is an area that is an underground tunnel system that was actually developed during World War II that goes on for miles in and around the town of Box and in Wiltshire. And even though it has officially been shut down by the RAF, officially shut down.
Royal Air Force.
It is, the Royal Air Force. It is still guarded extremely well. If you pull up and stop your car outside the barbed wire fences, and if you're there for more than a couple of minutes, immediately you will have unmarked black vehicles come up to your car and want you to move.
Wow.
So it's all very secretive. It's all very secretive, yeah.
Well, speaking of secretive...
Well, they have said that there is actually... Well, of course, it's all theoretical, but they think that some people believe that there is actually alien... what do I want to say?
Life form there or something?
Yeah. They're trying to...
Technology?
The alien technology that they're trying to...
like the Marvel heroes did what they were doing during that universe.
Exactly.
Well, so it sounds like that's the Area 51 of England.
It is. It really is, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of secrets, and because we're at a Magic Convention, let's get over there for just a minute. What's new with Card Shark? Have you got something new that you guys are selling here this year, or something you're going to introduce at Blackpool?
Well, we're getting ready for Blackpool, to be honest. We're going to have some new releases at Blackpool.
Anything you can tip right now?
Not really that I can tip.
Okay.
Not really that I can tip. It's all still secretive.
Okay. So be sure and go by the Card Shark booth.
By all means, come to the Card Shark booth at Blackpool. Yes.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. Good to see you as always, and Roger.
Great seeing you too, Scott.
Say hello to Eve. Okay. Love you guys. Talk to you later.
Okay. Bye.
This was Roger Nico, and with Card Shark, Scotty out. We're now with Marv Leventhal, good buddy from Cleveland, Ohio. Hey there, Marv. How are you, man?
I'm good, thanks.
And for those of you who might not know Marv as well, he was one, along with Dan Harlan many years ago, who had the Minotaur out that ran for so many years. How many, about 17, or not? Wasn't that
Yes,
long?
I wish. No, I don't wish, actually. It was actually 8 years.
8 years. But it seemed like 17 probably sometime. That's right.
I think it was 8 years over 17 years.
Because after time passed, you were still sending some out and everything, then as well. Now, one of the things I've not talked about yet today was some of the stuff that happened last evening. As far as, first of all, the Mark James show. He performed. He's going to be lecturing then tomorrow morning, Saturday morning on day 3. So far, can you tell me a little bit what were your thoughts on the show then last night?
I enjoyed Mark a whole lot, actually. Mm-hmm. A lot of clever ideas, great sense of humor. I know he indicated sometimes he had a little trouble translating from English to English.
Like a torch to a
flashlight?
Torch,
yes, exactly. Torch to flashlight. But very, very entertaining. I mean, if he was performing in a comedy club, or I guess that's the venue he's used to, I would certainly go to a show like that. I know my wife is fond of magic, and she doesn't like to go to a lot of stuff, but I think she would enjoy that a whole lot.
Well, he was successful also on a lot of cruise ships, and then as well as working in different kinds of these holiday camps and things then as well around the coast.
Yeah, and he doesn't, surprisingly, not a real heavy English accent. I know some of these magicians are actually, a little hard to understand sometimes. Not necessarily at this convention, but some that I've seen. And he's certainly very understandable, even with his English sense of humor, which I kind of enjoy.
I did too.
It's a little bit offbeat. It's not exact. And that's probably part of the reason I enjoyed him.
Yeah.
It was a little different, way of making things funny.
I like the way he used music throughout as well. He had something going on all the time. He had something to begin with saying, hey, you got 10 minutes before and 5 minutes and 2 minutes, get ready, whatever. So he had some music beforehand and a little voiceover and everything, and then throughout his whole performance. He opened up with fire eating and everything else, and so it was...
Yeah, fire eating was very good. I don't know how many magicians get to see fire eating that often.
Not too often.
No,
seems like anymore.
That's true. I know my one friend, Neil Rosum, I think he's been on the show once.
Yep, Neil's been
me.
on,
he does fire eating. I don't know if this is a coincidence, but he's since shaved off his mustache. So...
Now, Mark had done some stuff that had to do with calculations and coming up with some ideas. I thought that was kind of baffling. It was a little bit, a little contrived. It took a little bit of time, but it was, wow. It was
it was all good. I mean, he had the... I won't call it patter. I guess presentation is a better
scripting
word in this case. Yeah, scripting to, well suit everything he was doing. I didn't find any really lag time in what he was doing. Like I said, he was very entertaining.
Very entertaining, and you hit upon a good point there as far as scripting goes. From the very opening, where he started right out and he's talking with the audience, it was very well scripted, and he was very confident in what he was saying. There really weren't any lapses or whatever. It's like, well, for my next trick or whatever. I mean, it was very well written and scripted out. So,
I mean, I think someone like him, I'm not sure if he said this was his first show in the United States.
He did say it's the first convention in the United States.
First convention, yes. Which certainly could be a reason for pause on a performer's part.
Yes.
But I thought it was like he'd always worked in the United States.
Well, following him was Peter Turner, who was completely different from the standpoint that he was more of a mentalist kind of performer with... Go ahead.
Well, Peter Turner... well, let me preface this by saying I really wasn't as aware, maybe subconsciously, on all the different types of mentalists there are. I mean,
you're not in that mentalism world, so really.
I'm working a little bit, not too much, but I've delved a little more. But to say Max Maven is a mentalist and Peter Turner is a mentalist should not convey the idea that they both do the same thing.
Correct.
I mean, it's a totally different segment of mentalism, and I've never seen that in person before. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've seen things like that, but...
I kind of felt like we were watching a little bit of Darren Brown. I mean,
yes, exactly. I was just about to say that. It makes me actually understand Darren Brown a little better. Not that I wanted to hear a lot of secrets, but he did expose a lot of stuff. And all I can say is I felt like I was experiencing a dual reality of what was actually going on. As I said to a couple people last night, I said, it's kind of like watching paper balls over the head.
Yeah.
In that, one person's fooled. Here, both sides are fooled.
Yes.
The people watching it and the person without realizing that they've been fooled.
Yeah.
And as a result, it looks like, honest to gosh, real mentalism. one of the people he picked for in the audience is actually one of my roommates here, staying with me during the convention, and he was telling me, when he hit the quote number on the credit card, end quote, he was just taken aback. I mean, it was like a religious experience for him.
Well, you could tell also the way that the volunteer was reacting on
Yes.
stage, that it was a genuine reaction.
Oh, absolutely.
Because as you say, a dual reality, they were seeing something different than we were.
Right.
Yeah.
And in that way, he intermingles this so that both sides are actually fooled, and the end result is a heightened level of, I want to say, a heightened level of just mentalism.
Yeah. The reason I wanted to go so much into that is because I wanted to recommend for people who haven't heard of Peter Turner to look into his stuff and see about ordering some of his ideas and lecture notes and things online. I'm sure you can get PDFs and some videos and things like that, because he is at a different level of thinking.
And understand that I'm an old person now, so some of these guys might be off-put by his appearance.
Yeah, he's tattooed all over, yeah.
Right, and I would say, don't let that hold you back, because if you watch some of his stuff before learning the secret of what he's doing, you will think he's a true mind reader.
Boy, that's right. And now this morning, since we got started here, first up, let's see, who was it that we had this morning at 10 o'clock?
Kyle Purnell.
Kyle Purnell was, I thought, had a great lecture.
Right. Kyle is a very clever guy whose mantra is, what was it? Think small, play big.
Yeah, that's right.
And
small effect, big.
Small effect, that's right. Small effect, big result.
No, small method, big effect.
Big effect.
That was it.
Maybe together we'd come up with it. I mean, and he wasn't against big method, big effect, or small method. There's a place for all those other possibilities, and they can all be good, but he specifically tries to narrow stuff down, and you shouldn't be misled a little effect thinking it means self-working or easy. Not that his stuff wasn't fairly easy, I would say, but it's a minimalist approach to garnering the biggest effect.
I thought he had some very good ideas, obviously, that can be played impromptu with just some bills and things, It's not just card tricks. In fact, I don't think he even taught card trick. Did he do a card trick? I don't remember.
I don't recall.
Mortenn Christiansen did, who was a FISM winner, and he was up after that. And he worked comedy clubs. And his lecture was very funny and very good. And I think like 3 of the effects were card predictions. Yeah, which were, obviously you wouldn't do those all in the same show, but you get the general idea about here's how you could do this one, and here's another idea that might fit whatever your performing venue might be or your show.
I will say one thing just in general about the Magifest, and that is, especially for someone like you and me with several years of magic experience behind us, there are a lot of new faces here.
There are.
This year. A lot of people I've never heard of, which can result in really good stuff or really not so good stuff.
Yep.
And I've been pleasantly surprised. I've seen people perform in ways, in terms of their manner and attitude and persona that I haven't ever experienced before.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's making this convention such a good convention, especially for me. I think people that have thought about coming to a convention anywhere, this one is probably the closest to a national convention like IBM or SAM.
It rivals it in size, for sure.
Right. And you can't go wrong coming to this. I've actually been coming to the Magifest since 1981. Mm-hmm. I missed the last few years because of COVID, and this is my first year back in a couple of years, but based on this year, I would certainly plan to come back again.
And I think all the people who are listening, if you haven't attended one in a while or ever at all, you might think about coming over and experiencing this. I mean, even as we're talking, you hear kind of the cacophony in the background. We are sitting in the area outside of, near the registration desk area, but outside of the ballroom and the dealer's room. So it's a confluence of people who are just sessioning, and we've got tables just full of people. A lot of youth. I mean, I see a kid who looks like he's probably not 12 years old who's entertaining a group of people who are much older than him. You know?
I'm almost surprised at how many young people are here, considering that if you're a magician that still goes to magic meetings, the number of youthful magicians coming into the art are curiously absent. They don't realize the advantage of talking to older guys. And here it just happens kind of organically.
Yes.
I know the young gentleman that's rooming with me, he's only been in magic a couple of years, but he's become very good very fast.
Yep.
And after the last event last night, to which I went to bed pretty soon afterward, he didn't come in until 3 in the morning. He was down here in the lobby jamming.
That's so cool. I like to hear that. And there are a lot of people, again, who've been here even longer. I see Tom Craven over there, who is...
Is he here?
He's right over there. See him over in that table, scratching his head over there? Yeah. And that guy has been coming probably since the first one 80 years ago.
I think Tom has the longest tenure of continued attendance here. And if you haven't seen Tom, by the way, I think Tom's like 85 now, roughly.
I thought he was pushing 90.
He's pushing 90. And I know he just recently went on a lecture tour in Florida.
Yeah.
So if he ever comes to your area, Tom is a down-to-earth guy that doesn't do anything that any average magician, maybe slightly above, can't do, with a lot of really easy stuff. Having published the Minotaur, one of the tricks on the final video, we did put out a video, was Tom's glass backwards, which was one of the tricks that probably got the most comments directly to me of anything on that video.
Well, he is the longest running or oldest guy who has attended every 4F convention.
In fact, he's the only one.
Only one who's last man standing.
Right.
Who's been from the first one all the way to coming up on the 50th in April.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The long-awaited 50th.
Boy, that has been long-awaited. We've been postponing it for 3 years, and finally, we had...
Guys are chewing at the bit.
I'm looking forward to that. Well, Marv, thanks very much. Always good catching up with you, buddy.
A pleasure talking to you, too, Scott.
So for the Magic Word Podcast, that was Marv Leventhal. This is Scotty out. Well, again, there's a lot of stuff still going on right now, and there is a talk that's going on by an author in the main banquet hall, as well as a few other things that were going on. Josh and Andy both received a presidential citation from Billy Shui from the IBM, which was kind of cool, and had a few people also doing some mini lectures, if you will, that was part of the general session. And again, they're going on over there. Hey, Billy, glad you did that. That was our international president just walking by right there. But speaking of, that's what I'm saying, this is a convention you really need to attend, because here is somebody who is the owner of the Chicago Magic Lounge, and I'm proud to say, as a friend of mine, please welcome Joey Cranford. Hey, Joey.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Good to see you over here. Do you come to this very often? It's not that far from Chicago, right?
This is actually my first Magifest.
No kidding.
Yeah. Inaugural year for me.
I just kind of assumed that you were always over here.
No, this is a really, really cool convention, though.
Now, when you come, to these kind of conventions, obviously it's just here, but do you look at some performers and think, you'd be really good, and you go and talk to them and see if they're interested in coming and being at the Magic Lounge?
Well, yeah, we have a system in place for that. As you know, Benjamin Barnes is the entertainment director. But if I do meet someone and they have questions about the lounge, I try to say, we have a guy that we can talk to. But, for me, what I love seeing is all the performers that we host at the Chicago Magic Lounge all together in one different place. It's so important for me to be a part of this community outside of my four walls. For me, it's the Magic Lounge is a place for great magic, but also for great community. And so for me, building that community is real important to our mission. And so this is kind of my outreach to the community.
To support them.
Yeah, to say I'm here as well. I'm one of you as well. And I like to just be here to see all the performers. Last year I think we had 135 performers from all over the world.
Wow.
And I feel like I've met a third of them here. So it's just, it's cool to just reconnect, just to see, Mr. Masato, to say, hey, Nick DeFat, say, hey, see Andre in from Europe, to say, hey, yeah, Chris is here. Like, it's just really neat. And of course, we have our own Chicago crew out here. It's just fun to see everybody in a different four-wall set, so it's pretty cool.
It's a little bit different. Now, who or what have you seen so far, or in the dealer's room, or the show, or lectures so far that has excited you?
Well, my favorite thing, I'm a historian. I collect a lot of lithographs, magic ephemera.
Right.
So my main thing was to hear Charles
Greene. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah! We had a dinner the night before, and we got to talk about history and our combined love for it.
It didn't take much to wind him up and get.
No,
he is passionate.
It's harder to wind him down, But me too, right?
Yeah,
so once we get started, we're like, what about this? What about that?
Yeah.
What about this? So we had a great conversation about that. So I really wanted to hear him speak, and he's such a passionate speaker.
Yeah.
He's flawless in his presentation, and it just comes with so much energy. And what I wasn't expecting was him to inspire others. My favorite thing that I've heard since I've been here was Charles's ending of that little speech, and I told him this too. I said, when he did all this just because he wanted to learn more. He wanted to learn about the history of Ionia, what she did later in life, and so he traced down her footsteps, leading all the way to a home that she lived in until she passed away, leading all the way to the family's grave. And he took some chances that a lot of people wouldn't do. He knocked on some doors and rang some doorbells that were shut. Didn't answer the first time, but he kept trying, all to just get information and further his own interest. And when he closed his speech, he said, so, while you're here at this convention, do what I did. Knock on some doors, ring some doorbells, talk to those people, meet them, and, we all know Lance Burton is here. And it's just, some people, including myself, the first professional magician I ever saw. And so his speech of saying, go further than you think you can go, knock on some doors that you think are closed, and you'll be surprised at the outcome. And I just thought that was such a cool way to kick off the convention.
It really is, and that's a very important thing, particularly because there are so many young people here. I keep constantly talking about this during the podcast about how the median age is so much younger here at this convention than most others. And a lot of times some young people might feel a little bit intimidated because, oh, this person's a legend. I mean, there's Shutogawa, that won the wisdom. And they're afraid to go up and ask for an autograph, or, what are they going to say to, hey, Mr. Ogawa? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, what I like that was said on the first day as well, just yesterday, was that if you see some kids, hey, Felice, how are you? And she's like, good, doing good.
Another young person, right?
Yeah, well, Felice, yeah, no, she's got a thing in Boston, the Magic Lab. It's really cool. But he said, they said, I don't remember who said it, but it was said that if you see some kids working on some stuff, as adults, it's our job to go and ask them to show us something, and encourage them, to not just walk by them and go, because they're our future. These people are the future, of magic, and we need to cultivate that feeling of trust, and not let them grow up thinking that they're of a different generation.
I think also that everybody is more giving, and you really don't know how open they're going to be. I mean, for example, see David Williamson over here, kind of sitting with the young people who are coming up to him and asking. But the point is that he's openly and freely giving things, and that's what I'm saying is that. And I see Tom Craven over here has been around for so long, and so many different people who are older, who have the experience, and certainly open and free and willing to give that. And so if everybody would just kind of hang around the table, and oftentimes you do see, like here, there will be too deep behind the table watching somebody.
Yeah. Well, my thing, I saw this whole group of kids. You can actually see them from right over here. There's a whole group of kids over there. And, going up to them and saying, I run the lounge, like, obviously we have an age requirement and a professional thing. But I was, like, listening to some of the talks about what this youth program's all about and how there's like a free admission if you are a child performing for not-for-profits. And I was like, how cool would it be to have like a show, a kids show, a family show, which we have now again, but have table performers that are all of their age, and give an opportunity for younger performers to perform in a professional venue.
Right.
And I just, it's just so cool. to see these kids and their excitement here.
Well, you have opened a wonderful venue there, certainly with the Chicago Magic Lounge, the first one, and then you've expanded that to the new location, which I say new now. It's probably, 7 years?
We're about 5 years.
Okay.
I'm celebrating our 5th year.
That's right. And even during COVID, you were kind of open, but socially distant for a long time?
We were virtually. For
Was that what it was for a while?
504 days we were closed.
Wow.
But we did virtual performances. We turned our theater into a veritable studio, performing in the main stage and in the 654 Club, and then piping in performers from South America, from Europe, and learning how to create really a live show for our audience. And basically that was just to keep the muscle memory alive for all the magicians that we support.
For the most part, I would say that everything is back 100% as far as...
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. It is. What pandemic? I don't remember it at all.
That's right. It's a blur.
Yeah, the only thing is, I have a little scratchy throat, and I'm just like, oh gosh, I don't. I'm good.
Yeah.
But that's the only remnant is thinking of the days. But no, the theater's back up and running. Everything is great.
And I know that you said Benjamin Barnes, of course, is the entertainment director over there then as well. As far as people who are coming into Chicago and wanting to see that, can you tell people where can they go to get more information and see who's going to be performing, and as far as the website and all that? Or?
Yeah. The website's real simple, ChicagoMagicLounge.com. We don't post our performances, weeks in advance or months in advance, because really what we've learned is that the talent that we produce is the best in the world, and come get a ticket. You're going to see 12 performers on a Friday night, so it's going to be great. Our Instagram, though, is really hot right now. So I think we just capped over 20,000 followers on Instagram.
Wow.
And so really to stay up to date is going through the Instagram account.
What's the account there?
Oh, at Chicago Magic Lounge.
Okay, same thing. Easy enough to find there as well.
And today I have news today on the march. Today, for the first time since the pandemic started, we relaunched our roundtable dues.
Okay.
So if you
Talk
know
a little about that, because you're sporting the T-shirt.
Yeah, I got that. I got the new shirt today. I'm proudly representing. This is a limited edition. I made 3. Okay. When we were first opening the Magic Lounge, we wanted to support the community by giving them some exclusive access for lectures, Q&As, discounts on tickets, free walk-up tickets if they're available, and an open mezzanine space that's just free for members to come, watch a show, have some drinks, and have a good time. Since the pandemic, we closed that off. We left the membership active, so if any past member had a card, they could come in, get all the same benefits, but we just weren't doing the extracurricular stuff with the lectures and all that. We're trying to just focus on the main part of our business. But it's 2023. We're ready to move on. We're relaunching dues today for all current and past members.
It's an annual thing, right?
Yep, it's an annual thing. We're going to prorate the dues about 6 months in. It's not too expensive, but it's worth it because the money goes towards funding the lectures, funding the Q&As, and helping out with all of the exclusive details that we have.
And you're located pretty centrally in Chicago, aren't you?
Yeah, a little bit on the north side, a little north from Wrigley Field, but very accessible.
Yeah, it's a hip area up there, I think. Pretty hot.
Well, Time Out London called us the second coolest neighborhood in the world, which we were the only American, so Time Out says we're the coolest neighborhood in the U.S.
Enough said about that.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, and always good to catch up with you, Joey.
Really good to see you too, Scott. Let's get that martini.
Oh, I'm ready. So the Magic Word Podcast. That was Joey Cranford. Scotty out. Well, I don't feel like that we'd be having a complete convention report without talking with someone who I think epitomizes Ohio magic, as well as magic in general over here in Close-Up Magic for a number of years that you have done that. And so please welcome my guest over here, Tom Craven. Hey there, Tom.
Hi, Scott.
Very good to see you then again. Are you excited, by the way? I was going to say about the 4F convention. We could finally have our 50th coming up in April.
I haven't been invited yet.
You haven't got the invitation yet?
No.
Must be lost in the mail. Lost in the Ethernet and the email.
I'm serious, though.
Really?
I haven't. No, I'll go talk about that.
Okay. Well, but as far as this convention goes, you've been coming to this for how many years, did you say?
About 60.
About 60. I saw Jeff Hostetter last night, and I was surprised he'd only been coming for about 35 years. And Jeff was one of the original Redcoats, when I thought you were like one of the original Redcoat, weren't you?
No. I haven't been coming as long as some of the Redcoats.
Yeah. But you've been performing, and do you remember over the years, is there any particular convention where somebody or something happened that was memorable, that sticks out that you remember?
Oh, probably if I thought about it enough, there would be a number of them, but I'm at a loss at the moment.
There are so many.
Yeah.
People over there. And I know that you've been going out lecturing again. You just went back down to Florida recently to do a little bit of a lecture tour.
Well, I did 2 lectures.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And drove down there with your daughter, I understand?
My daughter and a granddaughter. They drove me.
Okay. So you still coming up with some new ideas?
Well, none of this was new. The lecture I did was called the Keeper Lecture. Mm-hmm. It's using the keeper card principle that I've been doing since about 1974. Mm-hmm. But and that was just all card magic, all done with that principle and different applications to the principle.
Mm-hmm. And you had come up with that idea of the keeper back then?
Well, John Quine came up with the original premise. In Ohio, he was my good friend, and he came up with the keeper idea, and then I just played with it and expounded and expanded it.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's even close to thinking about the things that I thought about with the keeper principle.
Sure. Now, the book that you wrote, what was that, 40 Years in Magic, or...
My book?
Yeah, your book is what?
Was the almost 50 years.
That was it, almost 50 years. Well, now you've got what? Almost...
It's been more than that.
Almost more.
Yeah, a lot more. Well, the book came out in 91, and so now we're that much further past that.
Right,
so.
Yep. And you've still been coming up with some new ideas and things that you might think about putting into maybe another small addendum?
No.
You're done?
No.
As far as publishing goes?
I'm done. Sold the rights to the book to Sean Farquhar.
Okay. So he's got it at Palmer Magic, I guess?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So you can buy that book through him.
That's
available
right.
there then?
Yeah.
That's right. Well, how have you been enjoying this convention? Have you had a good time?
I've only been here for several hours.
Oh, you just got here today?
I got here today.
Okay.
And I'll be gone tonight.
Just in and out?
Just came down like last year. I came in for a day. Today I come in for today.
Are you in Akron or Cleveland? Where do you live? Where are you?
Kent, Ohio.
Kent, Ohio. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's where Kent State is, the university.
Right.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. And that's just southeast of Cleveland?
Yeah.
Roughly? Okay. Yeah, in that area. So just kind of in and out for the day. You're not going to have a chance really to see much or do much. Did you come down to your daughter or granddaughter drive you down?
Nope. Or? Gary Mortenn drove me down.
Oh, Gary did.
Friend Gary.
I didn't see Gary here. Okay. Is he coming back? Is he going to drop you off and come back, or what's he going to do?
He's going back. He's driving me home.
Yeah, okay.
Tonight, yeah. We decided last year to come down for a day, and Josh told him that I've been coming here for so long, so many years, and he said, can you just get him down here for at least a day? So that's what we did.
And I'm so glad. That's why I wanted to come. I'm glad I caught you before.
And so now we did it again this year.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm glad I caught you before that you missed you then tomorrow, because you won't be here.
Well, good. I'm glad you caught me.
Yeah. Well, you're looking good. And
yeah, I'm hanging in there.
Well, it's better than hanging out there. So
yeah,
hanging in there.
I guess so.
I'm glad to see you then again. You stay well.
Okay, thanks.
I'll see you again later.
Okay.
So with the Magic Word Podcast, that was Tom Craven. Scotty out. The people are applauding. In the dealer's room over here then right now, and one of the people who is a performer and also a lecturer and going to be giving a workshop, I've got my friend here, Shoot Ogawa. Hey there, Shoot.
Hi, hello.
Good to see you then again, sir. And you are going to be giving a lecture tomorrow, or is that later tonight? When
Tomorrow night, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And your workshop is getting full already, coming up on Sunday.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm so excited.
Yeah. And are you, first of all, wanted to say congratulations. I didn't get a chance in Quebec to get to talk with you and tell you congratulations.
Thank you.
You and Simon were just awesome.
Thank you.
I had good seats, so I didn't even need to watch the monitor when I saw you perform live, over there.
That's great. Thank you so much.
But afterwards, it seems like you just had the world's press who was on you guys all over the place, and so a lot of people taking pictures. What did you get out of that afterwards? Did you get it? more credibility than what you already have earned?
Well, actually, like it's a funny situation. Like I got a 4 months of contract in Hawaii for magical mystery show in Hilton Waikiki Beach Hotel, and it started around the middle of June last year.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be only 4 months.
Yeah.
But I won the FISM.
Right.
And right after I won FISM, they extend to the end of the year.
Wow.
And then after that, they asked me to stay there to the end of the March this year. And now they're asking me to stay till the end of the October this year.
Well, that's not a bad place to be stuck, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh my God, I stuck in an island. Of course, it's a beautiful island. So I'm very lucky. But actually, I didn't change. I just stuck up a whole effort for magic, and I tried to give back for the society as well. Somehow, people recognize my work last summer. I was lucky because the other performers are absolutely amazing, and I like all of them absolutely. And then because I got a trophy, and I should be more responsible. So now I got more things. So people see me a little bit different, but I'm still same. Just I try to do more for the Magic Society and try to do good show for the lay people to let them love magic more and more. That's my personal goal in the current situation.
Now, where can people go to see you over in Hawaii? Is it a small theater? Or
it's a beautiful Victorian theater, like a 1800 to 1900, Victorian parlor looking theater. There's also like how to call it, the Museum of Oddity? Curiosity, yeah. So, and this museum is like, the special room having a lot of unique things in the small room. People enter this room, and then, the host gonna guide to the main theater with the special words, and then opening a door like a Magic Castle type of theme. And then, this theater is the only max 60 seat. Sometimes like, another theater in Maui is 40 seat-ish.
So it's kind of like a smaller parlor at the castle.
Parlor, actually perfect size for me. Yeah. So I can do close up the parlor material as much as I wish. Right. And the show itself is 70 minutes, my spot. And the opening act is usually 20 minutes. And the museum things are about 5 to 10 minutes. So total experience is about 2 hours of show. Wow. But it's very important to have this kind of theater because audience is different. If we do magic on street, we have a really hard time to get audience. If it's a corporate show, they're having chat and maybe drink, and magic is a side. Right. So no main things, right? Even even they set up stage, still they have ceremony, and magic is a little surprise for people. Mm-hmm. But they are not expecting or wishing to see magic at the beginning. Yeah. But this theater, everybody buy ticket, everybody come over, and they don't know this room exists or not because it looks like a regular meeting rooms, right? And from outside. So, but some person is standing there, and you have to talk to them, and they recognize that it is a theater, and enter to the museum and enter the theater. So when they get into the theater, when they come out, they're ready to see magic show. Oh, yeah. So and this situation is great for the people, and we are extending. They are extending this theater more and more. So hopefully it opens up in different cities and different countries. And after all, many good magicians in the world are gonna get work. That's very important for everyone.
So I can get on a tour of all these different places and it all comes about.
It's a wonderful place. So,
so again, how can people get tickets for that? Where do they go to the
well,
website?
If you want to, the best way is oafumagic.com. No dash, no dot, oafumagic. oafumagic.com. If you go there, there's the information, and you can choose the island, which island you're going to, and then also we have a theater, so there's a guidance. So right now I'm there, but I'm here in Magifest. So this moment, other performer is performing because this theater is changing performer. So I'm not always there.
You'll be heading back Monday, though, I guess.
Yes, but I have a meeting at the castle, so I have to fly to the castle.
You're on the board, aren't you?
Yes. It's yes. I have no comment for that. Okay. Yes.
Well, I may see you in March. I'm going to be working the parlor myself.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. That's wonderful.
March the 13th to the 19th.
The castle is still one of the best place because same as the Magical Mystery Show, people expect and having few hurdle, few steps to get there, right? Yeah. So it's very important for magic, and audience love to see magic. You know it, we know it, right? So Magic Castle is the best place. So we are trying to make a really more intimate version of the Magic Castle there. So hopefully you have a great time at the castle.
I'm looking forward to.
And I will see you there, or maybe I can see you. Just come over.
I will.
We can hang out.
Try that. Shoot, always a good chance.
Thank you.
See you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
So the Magic Word Podcast. So with Shutogawa, Scotty out. We are still in the dealer's room right now, and you can still hear all the noise coming on behind me, but some of the noise is coming from the future president, national president of the Society of American Magicians, my friend John Sturck. Hey, John.
Hey, Scotty. Well, I am from the Windy City.
Yes.
And the name comes from the windbag politicians, and I'm no exception.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
there you go. So you have been well groomed to take that job.
Almost if it was as if it was fate.
So
Yeah.
you are I know heir apparent, but does that mean you're first vice president? Or
I'm currently the president-elect.
Oh, president-elect.
I take over from the Honorable Rod Chow, our current president. I take over from him at our convention in New Orleans this July.
I'll be in New Orleans, and we're going to talk about that in just a second.
Yeah.
But tell me, I know you're not the first president from Chicago. Who were some of the others?
Jay Marshall, first of all, not president, but
he was the dean.
He was the dean, yes, absolutely. Other presidents, let's see.
I thought there was at least one other president.
Oh, there's plenty of others. Dorney, Werner Dornfield, one of the early presidents, early shakers in the SAM, he was also national president and a dean.
Yes.
Let's see, Russ Walsh of the Walsh Cane,
Yeah.
Chicagoan.
I did not know that.
And one of the few people to be president of both SAM and IBM, Russ Walsh. So we've got quite a history that I have to strive to live up to.
What will be your goal for the coming year as president?
Well, I have two things that I really want to focus on. The first is diversity, equity, and inclusion. I want to have a DEI committee, formulate some plans.
That's better than a DIE committee.
Yeah, right. Diversity, equity, inclusion, and focus on developing some programs and policies to encourage recruitment for women, BIPOC, and LGBT magicians. And the second is to improve component relations, is what we call it in the professional association space. And that is to make sure that our assemblies are working at, have everything, all the resources that they need, are working optimally, and are creating a welcoming environment for new members.
Sounds like admirable goals. And when you have nice, concise, reachable goals and objectives, you can reach them. So.
Yeah, that's right. And another thing we're going to be working on this year, I think I can tease it, is the new SAM history book that will be coming out, we hope, this year. The late David Goodsell had completed the book at the time that he passed away. We're currently going through doing the editing of the manuscript, and then we'll be working on getting it published and hopefully get it in people's hands later this year.
But not in time for the convention?
Well, we're going to try.
Okay, you're pushing.
We're going to try.
So tell me something about New Orleans. I'm excited. I love New Orleans. I love the food. The cage is my favorite. But
yeah, absolutely. And our guest of honor this year will be the beautiful and wonderful Tina Leonard. She is programming the gala show, which will be Tina Leonard and Friends. I assume that'll include Mike Caveney. He's terrific. I love him. We also just announced we signed R. Paul Wilson for our close-up gala show, and that will be R. Paul Wilson and the Mechanics.
Okay.
So that's what we've got so far. Keep an eye on MagicSam.com or SamConvention.com for all the latest details.
Where you can go and register also.
You sure can register there.
And also you can sign up for the hotel, which is the hotel is going to be at the Renaissance? Or
the Harris.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
they got gambling there, too.
Yep. Hey, if you aren't losing enough money in the dealer room, hit the tables.
Well, or better still, if you win some money, take it to the dealers.
Yeah, that's what we call a good economy right there.
It's a win-win.
Yeah,
It's win-win-win all the way around.
Triple wins.
There we go. Well, John, good luck this next year, and it's good to always see you.
All right, thanks, Scotty. Good to see you.
So the Magic Word Podcast, my good buddy, and the president-elect for the Society of American Magicians. That was John Sturck. Scotty out. Well, there are still more things that are going on than right now. Dealer's Room has been going strong, and I believe Mark Calabrese is giving a lecture then right now. I'm missing a little bit of that in order to spend some time with my friend, the friend of the Magic Word, and here he is, John Wolf. Hey there, John. How are you, sir?
Scott, how are you? Good to see you again this year.
Did you drive down with, again, as usual, or?
Yes, I did. Drove from Gettysburg. It was about 8 hours. But I remember the first time I met you, I drove, I think it was 11 hours up to Michigan. And I had just, quote, discovered the Magic Word podcast. And I listened to 11 hours of you. And I walk in the dealer's room, and who's the first person I see but you?
Yeah.
Never met you before.
Could you tell by my voice, or how'd you know it was me?
I could tell by your voice,
Okay.
yeah. It was absolutely clear cut.
That's interesting. Well, did you come with Kyle Purnell? Did he drive with you?
This year we drove separately.
Okay.
And so I came up a day early. I came up Wednesday, and that way I could relax Thursday. And there were people already sessioning Wednesday night and Thursday morning, so that was fun.
Well, I saw Kyle earlier today. As you know, I had a chance to record an episode with him. It's going to be coming up in the future that is more in detail about some of the stuff he talked about in his lecture here today and everything. And he's such a great young man. And there he is. Maybe I can get a word with him. He's giving a hug to Eric Tate, my competitor, another podcaster over there who is really great. I like Eric's podcasts as well.
Well, and I know you like his material yourself because it tricks when you're... he workshopped with you on one of the effects with the dollar bill.
Right.
And I think you enjoy that.
I really do, and I did. But he has just, got, I thought I had a good lecture, and it's just he's got such a jovial personality, and that was one of the highlights, I think, so far of the convention then for me as well.
I do too, and I think the material that he presents to the magicians here is material they're going to really use and can use, because you'll notice in his lecture... In his lecture, everything he used was stuff
We're talking about
the audience.
Yeah. Oh, stuff from the audience. Speaking of that, I got Kyle Purnell with me, right? Hey, Kyle.
Hey, how's it going?
Fantastic. So we were just talking real briefly. I wanted to get just a few comments from you then as well about how did you think the lecture went this morning? Did you have a lot of fun? Did you sell out?
Oh, my gosh. It was we all but sold out, I would say.
You were working behind the booth, too, John, weren't you then as well?
Yeah, it was crazy. There was a little bit of a fight, actually.
There were people elbowing for position to get his stuff.
Yeah. It was crazy. I'm like, guys, it's just a silly magic trick. Like, it's cool, but...
It was like a white sale with a bunch of little old ladies.
Yes, exactly.
And you had said this was like your third convention lecture.
This is my third lecturing convention, but it was definitely the biggest by far.
And I think what's really exciting right now is we're recording this, that you'll be hearing this tomorrow morning after it's been posted later tonight, but Kyle is on Penn and Teller Foolish tonight.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that both of these two big things are happening on the same night.
It is, and so you're going to have a little watch party in your room with a couple of your friends?
We are, yeah. John's going to be there, and a few other of my friends. We're going to have some pizza and brews, and it'll be a good time.
That's got to be just surreal. I mean, for you, it's like you're watching television and say, wait a minute, he's right here.
Yeah. You know? Well, and what's really fun, we went to lunch today after he was with you, and we're at the bar, and the bartender serving us our lunch, and he said, I just saw these amazing tricks over here. And do you guys do magic? He saw the things. Yeah. And Kyle showed him a few things, and after that he was like, okay, you beat those guys hands down. The young fellow was just blown away, and Kyle was doing some of the stuff right out of the set he did for his lecture.
I think what's exciting also about how people will come up to you or to anybody over here and ask questions and can you show me something, and like you are very open and free. It's like, let me not only show you, but let's sit down and workshop it. I mean, you spend a lot of time with these people then too.
Yeah, of course. I don't think I'm anything if I'm not willing to sit down and help people. I mean, no one is born successful, right? So I had a lot of support along the way, and I want to pay it forward.
Well, and
it's good on you.
Another thing not to forget about Kyle, he works really hard at his craft.
No question about that.
Yeah.
Now, I know that you are really a full-time school teacher. Do you work at school sometimes, like behind the desk, while the kids are reading the books or something, and you shuffling cards? Or
all right. Well, on the record, no comments. Off the record, my hands are typically doing something while just to keep the fingers occupied while the brain is working on improving some kids' lives. Yeah.
I remember Frank Price, who was a judge, and he would have a deck of cards. He'd be in his robe up at the top, as a judge. And he'd be listening to it, and he'd be under there just kind of cutting cards and stuff. So.
Yeah. I can relate to that.
It's funny. I'm a practicing lawyer, so when I'm in court, often we're out in the hall waiting for the judge to call us in for a case. I always carry stuff in my pockets to share with the tip staffs and stuff, and I'll get to court and they'll be like, what do you have today? And so it's always fun.
They know you as a magician.
Yes.
Yeah. That's very cool.
Although I did a show years ago when I first started practicing, and our president judge was in the audience, and afterward he came up and he said, John, that was a great show. Don't ever try that in the courtroom. It wouldn't be fair to the other lawyer.
Especially if you're going to be having a jury over there. They're going to love you.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, thank you guys very much for a few words that you've given us over here. I'm glad you like the convention. Always good to catch up and for us to talk to someone who's going to be one of the performers and lecturers and really enjoyed it. Are you going to be performing as well, or after you've already lectured, do anything? Are you done for the convention?
I'm good. I'm done.
Okay. One and done.
Yeah, I'm done, and I'm going to enjoy the rest.
Now, some of the stuff that you might still have left over, are you going to be selling in the dealer's room?
We really don't have much left. We have a few sporadic things. I couldn't even tell you what we have. So, it was crazy. Everybody was very supportive, and it was a success, I would think. Yeah.
Well, I know we have some products that are still in the other dealer tables.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I know it's already been in the can, and it's going to be broadcast tonight, but I wish you good luck.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
For Foolish. So for the Magic Word Podcast, that was John Wolf and Kyle Purnell. Scotty out.